Master Grade Sazabi, version Ka. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, gundam.tk, and it's December's release, the Master Grade Sazabi version Ka Toki, and the unbox and the plates, well, those are impressive, but just as good. This is the equivalent of War and Peace right here. Tons of fun packed with information, so let's see what we can find out before this kit gets all put together. The first thing you're going to notice is that gorgeous cover art there, and English predominant all around, constructed by Anaheim Electronics, and the same information you'll see on the box. Before you dive inside, and you're going to see his non-hulked out regular Sazabi mode there from 0093, looking absolutely incredible there. They've even got the multiple shades of red drawn in there, as you'd expect with the oversized boosters. Before it's time to move on to take a look at some of the features, the long rifle there, you can see some details for the head as he's going to have the clear parts and the cockpit there on the inside. You can also see the details in the chest as they're basically trying to expose as much of that silver frame as they can in the most visible places and having that nicely transform out. And for me, this is a really nice touch. What are they talking about? Gundam Front Tokyo and the Dome G there. And they're talking about how in April of 2012 in Diver City in Odaiba, if you want to head over the Rainbow Bridge there, you can have lots of fun. They have Gundam Front Tokyo set up there, and they have Dome G, G being Gundam of course. You've got, 16 meters, 6 different projectors, 13 different sets of speakers. And what are you getting? A giant movie blasted up on the roof. And you're going to be standing there, you've got some handrails to hold on to in case you want to yell, "Osh!" And what are you going to be getting? A computer graphics movie there, as they're pointing out. Katoki Hajime did his designs. We got to see the new Gundam there before the Master Grade came out. And of course the the Sazabi here is suitably also the same kind of details. And now they've both come home, albeit a few months later. The follow-up, you've got an original episode here. It's UC 1 of 72. And the focus there is going to be on the Unicorn Gundam number 3 machine. The Phoenix there, or the Phoenix, however you want to call it. Looking good, but for me, that original one, You versus Sazabi, was an absolute treat. The kind of thing you hope it comes home, but it is now in Gunpla form. Inside here for the gatefold, and there he is, hulked out front and back. For me, it's those little gray details that are going to be protruding between the yellow and the silver. And the lines, basically, this guy's looking spectacular in every single part. The big one for me is just look at this rear skirt here. It used to be just a big block, the kind of thing that you'd see on an old Xeon suit. And instead now you're actually going to be able to stretch it down, open everything up, revealing thrusters and silver and gray details on the inside. And it's the kind of thing, who will keep them folded up? I'm sure there's going to be a couple, or there are going to be a couple who go out and buy a couple. I'm sure Bandai's hoping for that occasionally. Char is looking good and is standing, nicely done up in his uniform and in his pilot suits there, wearing a helmet, somewhat surprisingly. And then you get to go and move into some of the details there. The shield, if you want to detach it from the forearm, you can actually go and hang it off the shoulder, which is going to be looking impressive. You can also see the funnel containers are going to be raising up and opening. It looks a little bit ugly. I'd say that picture is not clear, but you do have the silver parts there. The funnels are going to be in an open and closed position. None of this smaller size where you have to choose between them. And you can see here that the tomahawk, you can put on 2 small blades, or you can go for 1 big blade. There are 2 separate blades if you want to separate the whole thing. The beams are looking good, and even in the inside of the shield, the first thing the pros do is go line that up or fill it in. They do it all for you here, and it looks like we're going to have different colors for the long rifle and the beam shot. And there he is. More details for the legs. The waist skirts front and back opening up. The head, you can see that you can pop it down and up, and you can see the cockpit they're talking about there on the inside. Nicely done up in clear parts. They could have done it with some color, but then again, this is just going to make it so much easier to see. And looking straight down, this guy is ready for war. Fin funnels. Yes, ready to go. Always fun to see what Katoki Hajime has to say in his kits here. As you can see, all sorts of information. They're going to be talking about Gundam Front Tokyo there a fair bit. And then it's time to focus on the Psycho Frame. Oh yes, Char, he of the noble villain, rival, / respect, whatever it was. Well, the Psycho Frame was given from the Sazabi to the new Gundam. And so Amuro was actually ready to go. And 3 years later, we got to see the Shinanju Stein lead into the regular Shinanju there. And of course, leading into the RX-0, then the Unicorn Banshee, and then the Phoenix. Yes, that'll be another fun Master Grade and pricier than this guy. And there's some information about the actual movie and Char and his Neo Zeon movement there. and some fantastic inspirational long art here, which is going to be bringing out the reason for the long rifle, and that is a pose that many people, I'm sure, are going to be recreating. To the actual details we go, and look at that A's, and look at that C plate there. You can see it's just going to be the shield part with the black cover looking fantastic. 2 plates for a lot of these, and the big clear green parts, they're going to be included all the way up to R2, and just when you think you're done, yes, this isn't the D2 plate, you're going to be moving on S and T, and I had to go back. The new Gundam went up to L, and I was impressed. This one's going up to T. Of course, the new Gundam did go up to R if you count its base, which it came with, and if you filled in and you bought the double fin funnel pack, you could actually go and extend it. So you could say for 9,000 for both of these guys, they're about on par, but this guy, it all comes in the box, including the emotion manipulators, and down there you can just see how many varieties there are. The manipulators 300 to replace, the shield 200, some of the bigger parts 60 down there. Clear green parts are going to be 100, and the color seals 60, and the water slides 200 in case you need to order missing ones, and you can always go buy some LEDs. Now, praise aside for a moment here, well, maybe they could have given us some color, but it's time to put together the chest. You've got some nice drawings. Before you go and do that, and you can see that you're going to be adding some of these interesting different seals on there. You can see that these will add even more colors than the ones we've already got. You're going to put together the neck there, which is going to be separate, and look how many different steps there are just getting the head together with that cockpit hatch, and you can see everything moving into place. The arms, surprisingly, only take up a single page, but just look at some of these small pieces that are going to be inserted down there along with the forearm covers. The manipulators, of course, are going to be nice and complex there. Make sure you put the right one in the right part. And I love this, that the upper body here and the shoulders are almost going to have more parts and more instructions. You can see some seals getting edged on there than the actual forearms itself, the shoulders being more detailed. You can see the little thrusters hanging off the side, and once you've got the upper body, it's time to go. Look at that massive waist piece there. As you can see, all sorts of moving parts, so you're going to get the fancy hips. And once you've got those front skirts on, you'll notice that they're going to be two-toned so that you can get the different interesting parts. But this, I think, is going to be where a lot of the focus is. Look at the details that you're putting on there, and then you're going to seal it all up for a mighty boost surprise. The legs are going to be no slouch themselves, as you can see some big parts holding them all together, but there's going to be lots of mobility there. Those thrusters and everything are going to be quite exciting to put it all in before you actually go and cover it up. You can just see, compared to something old and hollow, that this is just a lot more fun, as they're just thruster after thruster as you put it all in together. Finally, it's going to get completed, as if this isn't enough, that you're going to be putting on 3 individuals on a triple there, and then on another one. And once you've got the lower legs ready, it's time for the backpack, which is also not going to be any slouch itself. 4 times H10 that you're going to be putting on for the individual funnels. Look at those teeny tiny details that are going to be getting plugged in. The oversized propellant tanks, and then finally, he's all put together, and they're going to show you how to open up the cockpit hatch there. 3 different steps, and the mono eye is going to rotate side to side. The weapons there, new and old, as you can see, the beam shot rifle. Well, 3 main parts put together that. You can see it's going to fit into the hand well, and a top and a bottom there, so not that bad, but not that exciting. The long rifle is going to have some interesting details and a fun gimmick coming up there as you get on some smaller pieces. But how about this for the shield, as you're going to see all sorts of little parts exposed, as you've got all these chopped out edges. Everything's going to be going on there in a smooth and stylish way, and don't forget that you can decal it up. You've got 3 missiles down there, actually made out of different pieces. The beam tomahawks are going to be good. The beam sabers, which are going to fit into the hand, and then you can get this. It looks like the long rifle is going to be extending at the back. The shot, of course, will just fit in normally, and then gatefold at the back, as if this wasn't enough. There you can see the beam saber fitting in hand, and it's also going to have a peg on it. Getting the tomahawks ready in a variety of different sizes, including the old up-down there with the small or the large ones. Here you can see it fitting onto the forearm and the weapon sitting inside. And what are you going to get here? Well, the old basketball version of the cockpit so that Amuro can take it and jam it into an asteroid, as everybody has a good laugh about that. The backpack, you can see here, this is going to be sort of interesting. They're telling you if you buy the action-based one, omit one of the pieces and use their custom piece, BA3C10. And this is going to be great for display because instead of going low, well, with the help of a Bandai action-based one, if you follow the directions here, BA3C10 is going to help you get this right inside before you actually go and get the backpack on there. And if you want to drop in the LED, it's going to be nice and easy. Pop up the head and pop it down. And we're not done yet, because the funnels, they're going to be going up, and then you can see them launching off and then opening up individually, and a transformation system. Who would have thought we'd see the day? Well, I suppose the Unicorn Gundam has sort of created that kind of feeling. You're going to pop open the chest, that's nice and easy, but look at this, shoulders up, out, and then the thrusters down and twisted. You've also got the forearms moving. There's going to be tons of silver on display. And even more here on the front skirts. Yes, flip them off to the side there, and you're going to move those thrusters around on the side skirts. The back one, as you can see, the nozzles moving up, and the legs are going to go from this to this, as they're going to be opening and splitting up in the back. You can't take those and do too much with it, besides open them up, but that's still going to be looking good. And here they're going to tell you how to take this shield and hang it off the actual shoulder, and that should be pretty impressive, as it looks like it's got all the mechanisms in there. You don't need to keep the parts on a Ziploc or a Ziploc nearby. That's going to hang off and look great. And this is one of my favorite parts of the manual, is that they're telling you, buy the Master Grade Shinanju, sold separately. Do not buy the ver.Ka Toki, because the bazooka is not included. So this is a Katoki Hajime kit, and they're telling you, don't go buy the other one, because of course we tried to sell you the same thing with a slightly different color with one new weapon. We've seen that time and time again, but you can have some fun, as taking this long shot and adding on a bazooka is going to set up even more parallels between the Sazabi and Shinanju. And it's like we're stepping out of an old movie here, as what are you going to get? Color after color, the side, the back, and the front there, and the top, the shield, the legs, and the weapons. Here's all the water slides there. You can see white, 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 yellow, a little bit of green down there with a nice SO1, and they're going to go put it all in. And there's the color chart. The 3 different shades are going to have a lot of Azuki there. For the first one, it's Shine Red 90, White 5, and Orange 5. For the second below that, Azuki 65, Shine Red 35, and White a tiny drop plus a tiny drop of gray. And for the other red, you're going to have Shine Red 95, Azuki 5%, and White plus a little bit of gray again. Just great that they're following up in the real grade tradition, now in Master Grade form. And with this, the manual and everything else just reiterates how good the plastic is and how good the manual is with its simple back there. This is a lot of fun, and it's the kind of thing that for collectors and people who take the time to read, this is just packed with information, the most important one being how to put it all together. So stick around to see that and all the completed parts, but I cannot wait to get started. Please let me know what you think with a comment down below, and stick around, there's more. See ya! You know, in keeping with tradition, they almost could have split this up into 3 different parts as well. You know, in this company, I really do feel like an ugly duck.